Hello, if you saw my first video, you probably saw me starting to talk about the first 1000 days and why they are important to your baby's growth and development. So those first 1000 days are from conception and run through to your child's second birthday and include roughly about 270 days of pregnancy. I touched briefly on stopping smoking as one of the things that you can do to help maximise your baby's outcomes and improve your health and their well-being throughout pregnancy, birth and beyond. I just wanted to explore that a little more deeply today. It's certainly not my intention to make a video that is me saying smoking is bad and you absolutely must stop smoking in pregnancy, because that is a message that I'm absolutely certain that you've already heard. So what I am going to do is talk a little bit about the effects of smoking on your body, on your baby's body in pregnancy, and some of the outcomes that potentially can happen if you do continue to smoke in pregnancy. Now, I think as humans, we all at some point in our lives take part in behaviours and do things that we know are going to be a risk to our health, and we are very good at what we do is we make a risk assessment. We find out about the risks about what we're doing, and we decide whether that is an acceptable risk to us, to our families, for us to continue with that behaviour. And smoking is no exception to that. Smoking in pregnancy, it's widely known that it can be harmful to your baby, but if we explore a little bit more why that is the case, it gives you some more information in order to make an informed choice about how you continue behaviours in your pregnancy. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the normal process of gas exchange and oxygen transfer to your baby if you don't smoke. So just a little bit of GCSE biology revision here. We breathe in air which contains oxygen into our lungs. That oxygen diffuses through the membrane of our lungs into our bloodstream. It attaches to haemoglobin in our red blood cells and is transported around our body. It is used in our cells for their metabolic function, and then carbon dioxide, or the waste products of this metabolic function, then transferred back through to our lungs, and then we breathe it out. So now we're going to add a baby in the womb. So we breathe in the oxygen, transfers to our bloodstream through the haemoglobin, and it goes all the way through to the womb, through to the placenta. Now, the maternal and baby's bloodstreams never actually come in direct contact, but they do come incredibly close. Fetal haemoglobin has a really high affinity for oxygen, so the oxygen in the maternal bloodstream diffuses across to the baby's bloodstream in the placenta, and then is transported to the baby, is transported around the baby, used for their metabolic functions, and then carbon dioxide is transferred back to the placenta, diffuses back to the maternal circulation, and then the mum breathes it out. So that's the basics of like the gas exchange in a baby, very simply. If we add smoking into the mix of that, one of the real risks of smoking, as well as all of the chemicals that is contained in a cigarette, is something called carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. Lots of us have heard of it, and it is produced when we smoke cigarettes. So while hemoglobin has a high affinity for oxygen, it has an even higher affinity for carbon monoxide. And carbon monoxide binds with the red blood cells with the haemoglobin 200 times tighter than normal oxygen molecules. This means it is very hard for our body to eliminate carbon monoxide, and it also means that while those carbon monoxide molecules are really gripping onto the haemoglobin, it prevents them from transporting oxygen around our bodies. So when we smoke, we breathe in the carbon monoxide that attaches to our red blood cells, to our haemoglobin. It's transferred around the body and it reaches the placenta. And in the placenta, it comes in very close contact with fetal haemoglobin, and fetal haemoglobin has an even higher still affinity for carbon monoxide. So that can diffuse across the bloodstream into the baby's system. It binds with their red blood cells 200 times tighter than oxygen, reducing the amount of oxygen that is going to your baby and the amount of oxygen that can be transported around your baby's body. So this reduction in oxygen supply to your baby can mean that your baby doesn't grow to the full potential that they should, so they can be smaller at birth, which can mean they can struggle to maintain their temperature. It also means that you're at risk of miscarriage, at risk of stillbirth, they're at risk of something called placental abruption. So this is where the placenta comes away from the wall of the womb, which can be life-threatening for you and your baby. It also, babies born to mothers who smoke in pregnancy are at higher risk of developing asthma and other respiratory problems as they grow older. As you can see, the risks of smoking in pregnancy, there's many, they're numerous. You've probably heard about them before. I just thought I would explain about how those risks do occur to your baby through that reduction in oxygen supply. So what can you do about this? So stopping smoking is the single biggest modifiable thing that you can do to improve the health of your baby. Everyone wants the best of their baby, but that doesn't mean that those decisions are going to be easy to make or easy to carry out. Smoking is highly, highly addictive, both physically and psychologically. Now, here in South Cumbria, our pharmacy service has a stop smoking service, which offers 12 weeks of nicotine replacement therapy in pregnancy. And nicotine replacement therapy is safe to use in pregnancy. Also, we have in our local trust maternity support workers that can help stop smoking. Your midwife can help you to stop smoking. Any pharmacy, if you pop in, will have a stop smoking service. So absolutely, stopping smoking at any point in your pregnancy will have some benefit, but the sooner the better. What I'm going to do is at the bottom of the video, I'm going to put some links that might be helpful if you would like to find out some more about the stop smoking services in your area.